Well, you better go buy a prom dress because there's a big gala coming next month. I mean, they're getting ready for the new stimulus package, and it looks like there's going to be about like 15 new personal grants in the stimulus package. Excuse me. It's just in the House yet, but the Democrats in the House have a proposal all ready to go, and then it has to be voted on there, which looks like a walkthrough, and then it goes over to the Senate. And they may junk around with it over there, but most of it will be the same. And here's what it is. If you want to see this, go to CNN.com and look for House Democrat Stimulus Relief Plan. And that lays it out because there's so much more. Everybody's waiting for the check, that's going to come in these things. But it's more than just a $1,400 check. There's so much in this besides the stimulus. Like even the $1,400 now could be up to $5,600 for a family of four. And that's just in stimulus checks. Plus, the IRS is going to give you checks, too. You get a grant from the IRS, and you don't even have to pay taxes. Well, actually, on the $1,400, I mean, that's the earning up to $75,000 or $150,000 as a couple, and then it starts going down till you hit $100,000 or $200,000. See, it's amazing to me. The new poor income now is $100,000. So anyway, you have that. You have the stimulus checks per family. And what's interesting about adult dependents are eligible. In the last stimulus checks, if you're taking care of an adult in your household, they weren't eligible for a stimulus check. Now they are. Okay, now you have unemployment assistance. And again, I'm just reading it, and there's ifs, ands, or buts to everything. So just use my stuff for an overview. No one knows the facts until they send out checks and all that stuff. So just to give you a clue what to look for, this is what I'm trying to do. So there's two kinds of unemployment, the regular unemployment and then pandemic unemployment. Well, they increased the number of weeks you could get these now. The regular unemployment has been increased from 24 weeks to 48 weeks now. That's like a year. Now, the pandemic unemployment is up to 74 weeks. Now, the pandemic unemployment, that's the one you're getting $300 a week. That's going to now be $400 a week. So, and what, how many, 25 more weeks, 24 more weeks. So that's what's going to happen. Food stamps. Okay. So money to pay for groceries, that's going to be increased 15%. And also, there's going to be money if your child is home and can't go to school, because of the pandemic, and they normally get school lunches subsidized or whatever, you'll get that money to pay at home. Okay. Also now in here, there's a $10 billion, B as in boy, $1 billion for rent money and utility help. Okay, now there's $25 billion from the last one that they didn't even spend yet. So you got to go out there and find that $25 billion. It's in every city. If they tell you they don't have any more money, they're talking about the old stuff that was passed last year. The new stuff, then not the new stuff, which will be next month. You just can't keep up on this stuff. That's why it's so screwed up, man. It happens so fast, so big. Bureaucrats can't keep track of it. So you have to do that. And you have to protect yourself. Okay, so if they say no more, we're ran out of, rent money. Okay, that's old stuff. There's new one like any day now. And then next month, there'll be new ones. So that's going to be $10 billion. Plus, then there's an extra $5 billion just to help homeless people. So many more people are becoming homeless. Because of this pandemic. So they're giving out another $5 billion just for that. Okay, now here's another biggie. Kids are going to get $3,000 to $3,600. So $3,000 if you're six or $3,600, $3,600 for every child under 6. For children 6 to 18, you get $3,000. And this will be a monthly. So this will be like a stimulus check. It'll come from the IRS, but it's called a tax credit. So hey, I don't pay taxes. Don't worry about all that stuff. Don't worry about that, what they call. I mean, in all these programs, grants, I mean, loans are really grants. So tax credits are really grants. It's all really grants. They're just doing it. Who the hell knows why? You don't have to figure out why. You just have to figure out where. And that's your job. Okay. So they have to do this in monthly payment. And what's interesting about this, they say this will cut child poverty in half. Can you imagine that? Cutting child poverty in half. And we have the largest in the developed world, I think, the largest cohort of people, of children that are in poverty in the developed world. So this alone will cut it in half. I mean, that's an astounding figure to me, okay? Now, also, there is a tax credit, again, it's called earned income tax credit. In other words, that you're not making enough money. So even if you're making $1, you could get the earned income tax credit. And even if you have no kids now, see, it's always been that way. I used to always think that was only for people with children. No. If you have no kids, you get a grant from the IRS for like $540, something like that. Well, that now, see, that used to be for only people that were 25 to 65. Now you could have no kids and be 19 to 180. And they'll give you an extra $550. That's pretty cool. I had no idea about that stuff. There's so many things like that that's available. Okay. Also, if you're there are a lot of grandparents keeping track of kids. So maybe if you have a child at home and you're a grandparent raising them, you're not the mom or dad or whatever, you still can get that kind of money, that child credit for. Okay. Now here's another thing for leave. So family leave at business. Now you had I think it was 10 weeks of family leave that the government was paying your employer. So you could go home and take care of your kids because they couldn't go to school. Well, now they're going to extend that, but only as a tax credit. So your employer won't get cash, but they have paid less taxes. So if they're giving you $1,000 a week to stay home, they pay $1,000 a week less taxes. That's the way they're going to support that. Okay, now here's another thing: money for schools. They're going to have $120 billion from kindergarten to high school, graduation from high school. I'm not sure where that's going. It's probably going to make it COVID free and all that kind of stuff. But it's $120 billion for school. But here's a more interesting one to more of the people probably watching this: is that if you're taking a college course, the colleges are getting money up to $20 billion for college students who need extra money to stay in college. So if you're looking for extra grants to stay in college or whatever, or even to go to college or whatever, now your college is going to have this grant money from the new COVID, next month's COVID, not this month's COVID, not last month's COVID, not last year's COVID, but next month's COVID grants. That's going to be available at your college. Also, here's another one. Child care. Okay, there's going to be $40 billion. That's real money for child care providers. So if you're taking your child to child care, tell them about this or him or whatever, because then you don't have to pay. They're getting it from the government to keep them in business. And so then you don't have to pay child care. And they'll stay in business because this is $40 billion to help childcare. And that's why I think this administration seems to be aiming a lot. I mean, the care that we have in this country it's a big burden, and it's not taken care of very well, I think. And there'll be a lot of help for that. So this is a little bit of this that's going on. Okay, now also there's when you sign up for health care, you get a healthcare program, on Obamacare, wherever you get it, you get a subsidy at a certain income. that income now is going to be over. I think it goes up to $100,000 a year. Now it's going to be forever. There'll be some kind of subsidy for everybody who signs up for health insurance. And that's sort of interesting. No cap anymore on the healthcare. Also, there'll be bigger subsidies on how much they're going to give you. Now, there used to be they want you to pay 10% of your income, and they'll pay the rest to get health insurance on Obamacare stuff or healthcare.gov. Now it used to be 10%. Now it's only 8.5. So that means they're going to subsidize your premiums a lot more. And here's another neat thing: laid off workers. So if you get laid off and you had health insurance with your employer, you only have to pay 15% of the premium to keep that health insurance. Okay. So somebody's supporting that. So I guess it's tax dollars. So you only pay 15% of the premium that your company was paying to keep getting health care. Now, again, there's probably ifs, ands, or buts and details. So you got to go out and find that when they make available. Pay more states for increase in free health care. Oh, yes, they're going to more and more people be eligible for Medicaid. That's free health care. So that means more states are going to have it now, be higher income requirements. Not a requirement, but a level to get in free will be increasing. So more and more people are going to sneak in and get free health care. Not sneak in, but be eligible for. Okay, now here, how about business? You got a small business. Okay, lots here. Small businesses of less than 10 employees, so that's 1 to 10, they're going to have priority over a new emergency small business grant called the EDIL. You probably know about that because that's all screwed up too. So if you struggle through that, you'll be able to struggle through it again when it comes out again. Okay, now also the PPP is all screwed up too, and they're working on that. And so are you if you want it, and you should. They're going to be $7 billion more for that. So that means next month, those two programs are going to be increased. Now, here's another interesting thing. If you're in advertising, marketing, or something like that, the government's going to spend $175 million to advertise giveaways. I'm going to go out of business. The government going to advertise all these giveaways. And then it's not clear if that's only for the business programs or what. But that's the biggest problem. The government doesn't advertise. So you go on Google, and when you go on Google, you're not going to find anything that's not advertised because Google's going to take money from people who are selling you stuff, and the government not. So now they could take $170 million from the government because the government's going to advertise on Google. So maybe you'll be able to find some of these programs in Google after all. So 15 new personal grants to apply for in Biden's stimulus package. Coming to a theater near you soon. Like a Zoom call. Zoom. Oh, that's Zoom, not Zoom. Well, it's coming, and it'll be close to this, my guess is, but don't believe me until you see it.